Going live. Wow. You know, this is only the second time I've done one of these. So this is like it's weird. I'm like, I think I'm looking directly at it, but because the camera's like on one side, I'm actually looking at an angle, which is really strange. So, looks like I'm doing this the whole time. Anyway, hope you're all doing marvelously well. Hey, Eric Gordon is first. Marek, hey Warren, watching from London. Hey, how you all doing in London? Hello, Lee Hawkins. Do me a favor. I'm still figuring this stuff out. So if my good friends out there, many great friends already signed on, would you do me a huge favor? Would you post this in our academy groups and stuff like that, produce like a pro academy members and the students page and all that kind of stuff, because I couldn't figure out how to do it, but I wanted everybody to know that we were online. I've just started figuring out YouTube live streaming. Everybody else has been doing it now for about 6 months, but you know, I'm a little slow to this. Why am I slow to this? Because we're slammed busy. Today we're recalling a mix for an incredible artist who's going to have to go unnamed until he announces that we're mixing his album. But we're doing that. Yesterday we were at Sunset Sound cutting, and I'm going to tell you what it was. I'm cutting a Van Halen Eruption solo with a 13-year-old boy who's a phenomenal guitar player. So that was a lot of fun. As some of you may know, we've talked about, as we went back to Sunset Sound into Studio One, and we redid the whole of Van Halen 1 with a group of kids from like 12 to 16 years old. And that's coming out in the next week or so. So it's going to be very exciting, so please tune in for that. I've been told by our friend Glenn Fricker and other people that if you like and share this, so if you can hit like please and share it, YouTube will feature us better. I don't know. I'm not very good at doing the promotional kind of thing. And it's interesting, I asked yesterday to people to like it, and somebody was like, stop begging for likes. I'm not begging for likes. I'm just trying to help you know, get the information out there. So what I'd like to do is really talk to you about what we do here every day and answer any questions. They're coming thick and fast. Maybe what we could do, can you pass me my laptop? I don't know if I can look at the questions in an easier form on my laptop. If I could, then it might be, but I'll try. And hello there from Italy. Hello in Germany. This is fantastic that everybody's, can I win your giveaway? You have to enter. Where's the love button? I don't know, but please love it. So once again, if you could share this video, that would be really good. The Pro Mix Academy, the Produce Like a Pro Academy people, if you could let other people know from the Academy, great. Hello there in Hungary. Hello from Wichita, Kansas. This is fantastic. Hello from Thailand. Hi in Cornwall. Whereabouts in Cornwall are you? My parents live in Cornwall. Hello in Oregon. Hi in Kentucky. Hello in Akron, Ohio. This is fantastic. Hello in Albania. That's amazing. What inspired me to do music? Queen, A Night at the Opera. Simple as that. I heard it when I was 9 years old. Blew my mind. Hello in the Ukraine. Hello in Portugal. Sunny Derbyshire. I love Derbyshire. Beautiful place. Canada. Russia. Hello in Russia. Hello in the Isle of Wight. Hurricane Harvey ridden Houston, Texas. How are you doing there? Tight metal guitar playing. Yeah, we're going to do some rock stuff. Hello in Poland. Those of you who know me well know my wife knows that my wife is Polish. Whereabouts in Poland are you? Hello from Vermont. Hello in Belgium, Utah, Detroit. Hello, mate. I'm assuming that's London or Australia or New Zealand. Hello from Germany. We have so many great followers in Germany. Hello in Brazil. I don't speak Portuguese, sorry. Portsmouth. Hello in Portsmouth. Cape Town. Wow, that's amazing. Hey, Luke, you're in Winchester. Ah, oh, Winchester's such a... Or Winchester. Is that Winchester or Winchester? Hello from Mars. Nice. England. Lovely. Yeah, whereabouts in Cornwall? Argentina. Hello. Pittsburgh. This is like Eurovision. Yeah, it's like, well, it's like Worldovision. What do you think about recording drums with Audix mics? Actually, the Audix, is it the D6? You know, the kick drum mic is a favorite among me and many, many engineers. It is an amazing kick drum mic. Oh, Launceston. Nice. I know Launceston. Beautiful. Hey, hello there. Hello from the Swedish forest. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, I love the D6. Yeah, ask me anything. That's the whole point. Sorry, Winchester, beautiful. Winchester's so beautiful. I want to take my... Oh, Athens in Georgia, home of REM. Very nice. Slough, lovely. Sweden. Gary King. Hey, Gary. Will you ever make a mainstream pop song mix video lesson? Yeah, I've done some of that stuff in the past, and we've done some in the academy. We did a Lauren Taylor track. Lee Hawkins is in the academy. Tour of Spitfire. Yeah, we'll do one in a minute. We'll pick up the camera and do so. What do you think about the N90 compressor from Phoenix Audio? I love everything Phoenix. I love Rob. He does amazing stuff. Bangladesh. Tracking drums today in Vermin Studios in Oregon. Beautiful. Hello from South London. You know what? Tell me where you are in South London. My whole family, parents, mother, are all from South London. Speed reading 101. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, South London. So whereabouts in South London are you? Sittingham. Oh, wow. Well, my parents are all like from Morden, Cheam, Epsom, you know, total South London. Ever used a barbaric amplification mics? Critch Prucho is a cool bloke and makes great mics. Hello from Greece. Wow, beautiful. Thoughts on UAD stuff? I haven't had a chance to do UAD. I've tried to do stuff. They've reached out for me a few times, but it's, you know, it really comes down to like how communicative the companies are. You know, I try to build relationships with them and they reach out to me, but UAD sort of kept dropping the ball. I had a guy who was like, yeah, I just got back from Music Master. I have to cancel our meeting on Wednesday. And it was like Saturday. So I was like, okay. Obviously needed a few days to rest. It was quite funny. I think for those of us that like, you know, like you guys, you know, I work like 15 hours a day. Yesterday was the most goof off day I've had in about 10 years. We ended up working till like 2. And then we did some live feed videos, my first ever live feed video with Glenn. And then Glenn did one for his channel. And between us, I mean, that was the most sort of goofing off I've ever done. And then, hello in Nova Scotia. And, you know, it was kind of fun to be able to do that kind of stuff because I don't usually get to do that. You lived in New Cross, beautiful. Kansas City. You should have done behind the scenes. Oh, visit Beirut in Lebanon, beautiful. We have a couple of guys that we work with from Lebanon. Tipton, near Warsaw. How should I get my name out there as an engineer producer? You got to work in your local area. This is a good question. Okay, you got to work in your local area. You've got to find local artists that you can develop, you know, and if you can get one signed to a record label, great. But either way, you've got to start in your local area. I started in my local area. That's what you've got to do. Hello from Epsom. Hey! Nice. I think I still have some family in Epsom. My grandparents were from Morden and Rains Park, and I think I have an artist still in Epsom. I have another one who's in Cheam. Can I be moderator? Sure, you can try it. You can try moderating these questions. Nashville here. Hello in Nashville. But basically, Spectrasonics Keyscape. I haven't used it, but I do like Spectrasonics stuff. You know, I have a friend who helped design their stuff. So thank you all much for your videos. I'm learning a lot. You're very, very welcome. But anyway, getting back to that, how do you build your career? What you need to do is you really need to concentrate on your local area. You need to concentrate on developing local talent to you. So go to shows. Go to shows. If you find a band you like, go out and go afterwards and go out and meet them and say, hey, I've got a small studio. Maybe you've got a garage space or a home, you know, bedroom space. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Just go up there if you like the band and do a song for free, for like one song. Just do one song and say, let me show you what I can do. And obviously the prerequisite is you're able to use it for your resume. If they love working with you, then figure out doing more songs for an EP. But you do have to develop those relationships. I've seen a video come out, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, what's my favorite amp for recording rock? Marshall. I just drive it on the front end. You have to do some stuff for free because you have to get your name out there, especially in your local town. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take on a whole album and do it for free, of course, but do a song. Mix a song for free, and if they don't use it, who cares? It's all about building your resume and building relationships. You know, it's very easy for a guy, maybe, you know, who's got a 30 or 40 year career to say don't work for free because they grew up in a different industry. They have no perception what it's like now to be stuff. Yeah, see, look, somebody's saying, well, stuff for doing stuff for free. You've got to just develop relationships. I saw a video recently with a very famous mixer who's talking about don't work for free. But you know what? He grew up in a time where he's just gifted mixes. I used to work at labels where literally something comes in and it doesn't get shared around and there isn't different mixers competing for it. There's just an A&R guy who goes, I really like this mixer. I give them all of my mixes. And that was just the way it worked for decades. For decades, the same 5 or 6 guys mixed everything and they loved it and it was great for them and they built huge houses and drove Ferraris and life was great. Now it's not like that anywhere in the business. Now it's like you compete. I competed for this album. I competed against 5 or 6 other mixers and I got the album. That is the place that we're in now. And that is wonderful for guys like you and me. It's great for you because you can build your resume. So when a guy who's in a very privileged place says you don't have to work for free, remember he's never had to do what you had to do, what we have to do now. So you just have to create clear boundaries, create really good, clear boundaries. And the boundary is you're going to do so much. You're going to say, I love your band. I want to do a song with you. Do one song. And the agreement is, if they love the song, then you keep working. If they don't like the song, who cares? Move on. Just don't get yourself into a situation where you're doing weeks of work or hours of stuff for free that isn't ever going to pay off. Everybody who works for me, everybody that's created a career has started off with interning. Eric over there, throw your arm out. Yay, there's Eric. Eric films videos with me, he engineers for me, he gets credits on albums. He's had credits on Ace Frehley's 2 albums. In fact, he worked through the Christmas period with me on the last Ace Frehley album. He started off with me interning. Phil Allen, who won a Grammy for Adele, interned with me. And he worked as my engineer for 9 or 10 years. And he worked on an Adele album and recorded Someone Like You. Brian Joseph was my assistant on the second Frey record. And he won a Grammy for Bon Iver. And he was a monitor guy, and he'd never done any real recording. Laura, what's Laura's last name? I'm blanking. Won Grammys for Pink. And Taylor Swift was my intern and assistant. This is the way it works. So when people tell you stuff because they grew up in a different industry, I'm telling you the industry now is that you want to find mentors, you want to find people that care about you and give back. And we're really blessed to have this community of Produce Like a Pro. I want to say something really sad now. We recently had an Academy member die in a car crash. And his son reached out to me and said that being involved in the Academy and having his being able to mix stuff was one of the most important things and put a big smile on his face. And his son said the most beautiful thing, that it was the happiest he had seen his dad. What is that about? That's about a sense of community. That is about you guys out there helping each other, getting rid of this elitist mentality. These guys are in their ivory towers going, this is the way it should be, and I am really famous and you're really famous, and let's talk to each other about how famous we are and how wonderful we are. You know what? It's not like that. Those guys are no longer getting the work, you know, because that world is dead. Now it's very, very different. As you know, it's a really exciting time for you guys to be making music. This is a wonderful time. I want to inspire and give you guys the honest reality that you can help each other out and that we can grow this community. So tips on getting internships. Currently studying music tech and working hard with local bands for projects and free building portfolio. What's the next step beyond that? See, Michael Jones, thank you very much for that question. It's a fantastic question. So find somebody you like. Find somebody whose work you admire. All of the interns that we've got here have come here because they like what I do, and I beat the crap out of them. I literally make them work stupidly long hours, and they still don't work as many hours as I do. Because when I wake up in the morning, I'm still answering emails, listening to demos, doing all of that stuff. But they work very, very long hours. And that develops into really badly paid position. Really badly paid position turns into moderately badly paid position, turning into sort of okay paid, turning into okay paid, turning into pretty good, and eventually turning into great. And that's just the way it is. It takes a long, long time to grow the skill set. Just because you know your DAW okay does not make you a producer. Experience does. And that's what you need to do. You need to find a situation where you can learn to be around. You can get, and for Erica's, what albums you've been involved in? You've done 2 Ace Frehley records. You've done, come to the camera. You assisted on Christian Castro's last album.
Yes.
Who's a huge Mexican, huge Latino star. So he's done Christian Castro, he's done a couple of Ace Frehley records.
Trevor Hall.
Trevor Hall. Did you do both albums with me?
The tail end of the first one, yeah.
Tail end of the first album, the second album. What else have we worked on? And we've worked on millions of independent artists. I'm just trying to cherry pick some artists that you've heard of. The point is like, he's built a resume. So now, if you go online and look him up, I mean, you could have a web page. I know guys that have websites that have less credits than he does, that are being producer engineers. And this guy's worked his arse off to get into a position where he has 10 or 15 major label credits. That's what it works out to. And that's what you have to do. And you just have to be humble, and you have to realize your place. We had a guy come in and intern with us. I think he lasted 2 days. And Jack Douglas was in the room. Now, I'm not going to call this guy out by name, but it's just a great illustration. We had Jack Douglas sitting over there. And you all know Jack Douglas, and those of you who are fans of rock. He produced Rocks and Toys in the Attic, John Lennon, Double Fantasy, and Milk and Honey. And he was the engineer, one of the engineers on Imagine, and a whole bunch of other great things. This guy comes in, this kid, and was like, hey, what's up? After Jack. So first of all, he arrives after the producer, and I'm mixing the album. He comes in afterwards, and he leaves early, and he comes up and he's like, what was your name again? To Jack. If I'm in a room, here's great protocol. If you're in a room with guys that are obviously very, very experienced, that are considerably older than you, use this thing called Google. Google somebody and find out who it is. Know where you're hanging out. Pay everybody the same respect. Respect each other. Give each other respect. It doesn't matter because you don't know who you're in a room with. Yes, the best DAW is the one you know how to use. Hi, Toby, I'm 48. Don't worry about it. There you go. I agree. Yeah, age is irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. Kerry, I have Pro Tools and Mixcraft. I started in sound in 1987, not just in the studio. Always been, had a room set up. Fantastic. There's no best DAW. I agree. I know Pro Tools really, really well, and I kind of know Logic. And I kind of know a few other ones. And I like Machine. We've got our friend Michael M's going to do a little video on the basics of Machine. You'll see that in the next week or two. I like Machine because I like on my iPad, or more importantly on my phone, I can just build a quick beat and then export it and put it into a session. I've done many, many songs which I've started off with Machine. How can I make a good portfolio and get some recorded sources? Now I mix only friends' bands. The recordings are just average. I need the perfect source to make it a good mix. All right, here's a sales pitch. Here's an honest-to-God sales pitch for everybody watching. There's only 181 of you watching at this exact moment live. Here's my sales pitch. Join my academy. It's only $17 a month. Why am I pitching it? Because, I just answered your question, every month we have a high-quality multi-track, and I own them. I work with artists, and they let me use these multi-tracks, and they are some. I've got tracks with Vinnie Carluta playing drums. I've got tracks with Tim Pierce on guitar. Download the tracks, mix them, put them in your resume. There you go. I just solved your problem. Put them in your resume. You've got. We just did last month a song with Lauren Taylor. Lauren Taylor is on a Disney show. How often are you going? How easy is it going to be for you to get an artist that's on Disney Channel be in your resume? That's what we offer every single month, and you are allowed to use them. You can put them on SoundCloud. All we ask that you do is produce like a Pro Academy and name check the artist. Just, you know, just give us a little name check and you can use them and put them on your resume. So go and join it. $17 a month or $169 for a whole year. And I believe at the moment there are 21 multi-tracks in there. And yes, and each week we critique the mixes. Every single Friday we critique the mixes. So you get a mix critique from me, you get a forum and an academy of people helping each other out. It's pretty freaking awesome. Do me a favor, can you hit like and share the video? I have been told by smarter people than me that that's the way that YouTube actually cares about you and shares your video, is by the interaction. So if you could do that, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm also checking here to see whether I can get on and see the live and see the questions a little better. Yes, so please go and hit like and share. It's not letting me see the questions on here. Okay, so I'm really going to try and oh, here they are. Excellent. All right, I've got a better source here of seeing the pictures. This is amazing. I'm seeing the pictures, seeing the messages. So, do you ever try to mix like pictures or colors? Do I mix to picture? I mean, I've done tons and tons of cartoon music. I've written for cartoons. Yeah, I do live Q&A webinars as well. I'm being asked that question. I've done tons of mixing to picture. I've done film soundtracks. I did an Inglourious Bastards, trailer. That's the one that goes. So when you went to the movie theater and saw that, I did that. I've done tons of different trailers. I've done music for film, TV. I've done bed tracks. I have an album out there that's been used like 10,000 times of different instrumental stuff, which I wrote in like 3 or 4 days. I've had all these experiences. I own a licensing company. We publish music. I do it all. And I hustle like crazy. So the whole point of having this academy is to share stuff. Dream Console, just talking about that last night with Shelly Yakis. I have a Kadak. Thank you. Yeah, the first two Frey. The Dream Console. Actually, gun to my head, I have a Kadak, which might be my favorite console. But my favorite console I've ever owned, and I've had an 8058 Neve, classic Neve, API, Kadak console, and an SSL. My dream console is probably the API for tracking. I really like the Neve, but the API for tracking was absolutely amazing. Thank you, Sam Kanak. You played in a band called Spitfire. Lovely. I'm looking at all the questions. If you could only use one mic for the rest of your life, what would it be? Wow. This is a really strange question, because everybody who's recorded and stuff would say U47. Well, of course we would, because it's the most famous vocal mic. U47, U48. You can put it on a stand-up bass. You can put it on an acoustic guitar. You can put it on a piano. You can put it on overheads. You could do a mono recording. So probably a U47 or 48, but most versatile mic ever made, SM57, which is $100. So that's kind of a trick question, isn't it? Because if you had just an SM57, you could do everything. But what is your dream mic? Of course, a U47. So it's kind of a double question, you know? I would love to have the U47 if it was the only one I had, but if I could only have one mic to record everything, a 57 could do everything. You know, so it's kind of a weird one, you know. A lot of people say SM7, which is a really, really good answer. David says he loves the Kadak. If you have 4 tracks only, how would you record the band? I would do 3 mics on a drum kit. I would do kick, snare, and I would do kick and snare and blend them together with the balance, and then overheads, and then bounce that. So I've got kick and snare blended the way I want to hear it with the overheads in stereo, and then blend those to a stereo track and bounce. Couldn't do that, could I? I would have to do that within a mixer. So what you're going to need to do is get like a little mixer and take the kick, the snare, and the stereo overheads, and then blend that to a stereo track on 2 faders. That's how I do it. And then I would do the rest of the band in mono. Yes, bass and guitars in mono, and then do the vocals on the last track. There you go. I mean, kind of pretty much how the Beatles did it. A lot of the time they would have done the drums in mono. You could also try doing the drums in mono, kick, snare, overheads on a little 4-track mini mixer, blend that to one, and then do stereo guitars or piano stereo and a bass down the middle, and then have the vocals on the 4th. I would definitely make sure that I always had the vocals separated. Somebody says they're working on 80 dB, ATB. Those are great. The Tridents are fantastic. Yeah, somebody says an MXR $30 mic. I mean, it's possible. I mean, a U87 could do it. Somebody says he's got a U87, feels like wasted money. I mean, it's a difficult one. A U87 is a great mic, but a lot of what you're buying when you buy a U87 is not just a really good mic, but you're buying something that will last forever. You can go into a studio and see a U87. I'm going to put my chair down if possible, because I'm sort of looking. Nope, it's not going down. Ah, there you go. The thing about a U87 is it's built like a proverbial brick schnizzle house. It will last forever. So you can go to studios where they have them from the 60s and they are still working. So you're not just buying a sound with an 87. The reason why they're so expensive is you're buying build quality. So it's kind of a catch-22. An 87 has often been considered the best studio mic around, not just because of the sound, but because if you have a professional studio, you want something that will last forever. Some people are saying Audio-Technica, and I agree. If you're in Europe, there's a lot of people watching in Europe at the moment in England, Audio-Technica and Biodynamic are considered to be incredible microphones. A lot of studios you walk into don't just have Shures and Neumanns, they have a lot of Bios and a lot of Audio-Technicas. So don't forget that. It's America's hasn't quite caught on to Bios in the same way, even though they have them. SM57, people say 58, of course, those are great. I do love the Steven Slate stuff. We're about to do a full-blown mix of a track only using Steven Slate plugins, so check that out. How are your ears these days? Do you ever compensate with the top end? No. I try to mix at lowish levels and then mix loud for just a short few seconds. That's an Auric Wild trick. It's everybody that talks about that. You want to make sure that you're only listening loud for short periods of time, but you do need to hear everything at a low level to get balances, and then you need to hear what it's like in the real rap world when it's banging. That's a prerequisite for a good mix. You don't want to be listening so low that you lose the excitement, but you need to listen low to get the balances right. Very important. I have an older U84.7 I bought cheap because the case was dented. It's been working great for 25 years. See, that's why you pay the extra money for the U87. Been super happy with the whole Telefunken MIG Pro series. Great. 4050, love that mic. Hello, Mr. Hewitt. Do you keep the other band members entertained while one is doing overdubs? Yeah, that's a tough one. It's how to keep focus going. When you're working with the guitar player and you've got the bass player and the drummer talking incessantly, you have to find that balance of being able to communicate with them and just be like, hey guys, I'm trying to get this done. It's tough. If you're in like a small bedroom situation, and you have to like give the guitar player or the singer, very importantly, enough of attention. So sometimes you just have to ask them to say, do you mind leaving? Because I've got to work on this part and it's intricate. Or but you do have to find, you have to be kind to people, but sometimes you have to be forceful. Sometimes you'll be like, I've done it 100 times. These guys will attest. I turn around and go, hey guys, I'm trying to work on this vocal here. It's super loud, and I keep turning it up, and my ears are going to go if I have to listen at this volume. So no disrespect, but can you keep it down? Or if you guys want to talk, just go outside or something. You just have to be gentle, but you have to be firm. And it doesn't matter if it's your first band you've ever recorded or your 10,000s. I see, incorporate other band members and ask them to listen. Yes, but don't do it to the detriment of production. You need to be able to communicate with the singer or the guitar player, and then turn around and say, what do you guys think? If you make it an open floor for debate totally, you will literally be doing the first chord of the song for a month. You know, that's what good producers do, is they incorporate people. Jack Douglas is the king. Jack Douglas is the best producer I've ever worked with for integrating artists. Everybody in that room, whether it was Tom Hamilton, Brad Whitford, Joe Perry, Joey Kramer, or Steven Tyler, had an equal voice. But he didn't do it to the detriment of recording. He didn't stop and derail the recording process. He would record the vocal, he would record the guitar part, and then he would open up for discussion when there was a reason for discussion. Otherwise, it can just turn into a free-for-all. But that's a good producer who understands the psychology of that stuff. Hey, Warren, discovered the Aston mic Spirit mic, nice condenser and quite cheap. Yeah, really good, hyped top end, great on acoustic guitars and anything that you want a hyped top end on. What's your opinion on digital consoles in the studio, and which ones do you like? I don't really use digital consoles anymore. I feel like digital consoles, it depends. If you really want the feel of faders and stuff, then digital consoles are great. Otherwise, you're sort of just, it becomes a big mouse, because it's just mimicking what you do on your DAW. So be aware of that. You know, a digital console's great, but the only times I've loved it and really seen it work is in live. I just, as you know, for anybody that follows me on the Facebook page, please go to Produce Like a Pro Facebook page. I went to the Gorillaz show, which was absolutely freaking, first of all, it was amazing. It's the Gorillaz. They had like 8 guest stars. Their Dele Sol came out. It was ridiculous, and the visuals are incredible, but of course the sound was just like mind-blowing. It was Matt Butcher, and Matt Butcher is arguably the greatest sound man in the world. He does Blur's front of house, which from people that went to the Hollywood Bowl show that I went to, everybody walked away. It was like the next day was like, and that night was like Twitter comments about like Blur were the best sounding band ever at the Hollywood Bowl. I have to agree, I was there. It was mind-blowing how amazing it sounded. Well, I just went through that with the Gorillaz. It was the best-sounding live show after the Blur show ever. Reason why I talk about it was all done on a Digico digital console. And you watch Matt, he's like doing all these fader moves. He spends time, because they're doing a lot of dub kind of stuff and reggae grooves and things. He puts on delays on different instruments and does panning and the vocal stuff, and he's EQing the vocals in different ways, and it's like amazing. It's like watching an artwork. But the other thing about it is he has the freedom to do that because he's in a digital console and he's saved different sounds. So when he wants the bass sound, he's like before it, and boom, all of these sounds come up. When he wants like a specific drum sound, and in 1 nanosecond. So digital consoles are definitely here to stay in live. They are amazing for live. I just think when you're in a studio and you've got a lot of time, a digital console is a great thing, but it's really mirroring your screen. So God save the Queen. Well, thank you. So I was thinking about recording a lead vocal with both Ribbon and LDC at the same time, side by side, and blend the two. I'm not a big fan of double miking a vocal. It's really tough. I think with guitars, you can double mic, you can XY, you can put them side by side, and the phase can be, the polarity can be okay, and you can get lows, mids from one and highs from another. I think there's all fun things you can do. However, I think for a vocal, yeah, somebody's saying phase issues, it's really tough. Vocals have so much going on in them, so much, you know, low end to mids to high, you know what I mean, all of this schnizzle going on. You really need that phase, that polarity to be absolutely perfect. I'm not a big double micer fan. I mean, Jack has made me do it many times, but why does he do it? Well, he does it because he might, he's working with a singer, and he'll put like a, he'll have the large diaphragm condenser, so we'll put up my 47, and then by the side of it, he might put on like a really trashy, really cool dynamic mic that he in his mind is putting there deliberately, because when he comes to the bridge, he might switch to that mic for a different sound. So that's where I think double miking. He also had me do a Sheps shotgun mic about 2 feet back, and that gives a different sound. And when I asked him why, he told me that's what they did on Toys in the Attic. and I believe on Rocks, but definitely Toys in the Attic, was a double mic'd. He's got a book coming out in a year or two, and he'll be talking about a lot of this stuff. Definitely worth the you know. Right. Hey, looking for a versatile, good condenser for acoustic guitar, vocals, maybe electric rooms, and Hey, let's stay off politics and stuff on the YouTube channel here. We don't talk politics, and if somebody wants to do that, you know, there's other places to do that. You know what I mean? You know, don't disrespect, but you know, the world is so so politically charged at the moment. We're just talking music here. You know what I mean? So sorry if I block any messages like that. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm recording my own stuff, guitar, especially Focusrite 2i2. Yep, sounds great. I'm a big fan of the Audient. We have a great relationship with Audient, so also check out their stuff. Can you name a few alternative Spectrasonics on the preamps? There's so many things, you know. There's so many different things out there. I really, God, if you're going to spend something between $500 to $1,000, almost everything out there is really good quality. It's like, you know, the BAE stuff, the 212s that they make, the 1073s they make are great. As you know, I like Phoenix as well. They make great stuff. I think it comes down to your budget. What are you going to spend? Do you need a mic pre yet, or are you still at a stage where you're trying to get a decent I/O? So, you know, there's a lot of choices. I would need to answer that question to know what you already know. Warren just showed you how to be nice. What was this? I missed that. Warren just showed you how to be nice. I missed it. It's gone. Compress one of the when you do a mix down. Warren, you're the coolest. Thank you ever so much. Zoom has a new Thunderbolt interface. Neue 500 series, newer equivalent to V series. I don't know that yet. How does it feel for you when you enter Sunset Sound? Does it feel special, or is it just business as usual? Thank you. Answer me that question. Yes, I do. I have a very small drum room, by the way. I still feel special every day. I kick myself. I pinch myself every time I go into Sunset Sound. I'm like, I go into a place where some of my favorite records were made. Queen with Adam Lambert. I love it. Any excuse to go and see Queen. Any excuse to see Brian May play guitar or Roger Taylor play drums. It's like, yeah, I mean, Freddie Mercury was the greatest rock singer of all time, but I'm not going to complain about going and seeing Adam Lambert sing. God bless him. He's got an amazing voice. Is he Freddie Mercury? No. But nobody was Freddie Mercury. I don't care if it's Paul Rodgers. I don't care if it's Steven Tyler. That's Freddie Mercury, and he's not available anymore. He died. So I'm going to go and see Adam Lambert sing because I want to go and see Brian May play guitar and Roger Taylor play drums. I mean, God bless them. Do they do a ritual for the album mastering? Do they really do a ritual? I have no idea. Maybe they do. So no room mics on Warren's drum room. I do, you know, Toby, we have been using the vocal mic and printing that for a trashy room mic. Well, it's not trashy because it's a great microphone, but just like one that we can mess up and do some stuff. Toby is also an Academy member. We were talking about that. The thing is, it's a really supportive academy, and people were, you know, asking earlier about how to get really high quality multitracks for your resume. Well, go join the academy. So Chris, I got my answer. Thanks, bro. Not that I believe in that. I'm not sure what your question was. I'm really sorry. Speaking of Roger Taylor, how do you get width, depth, and height on your snares? I mean, I tend to boost low end. We're doing some 100 on a Pultec at the moment, so a bit of 100 on there. Now that might interfere with your bass guitar and your kick, you would think. But bear in mind, when you boost on 100 on a Pultec, you're just sort of, you know, if you do enough of a boost, you're also grabbing it a little bit lower in the low mid. So it's not like you're specifically only boosting 100. Do you use CLA and boost a ton of 15K? No, I don't. Wilson Pickett is amazing. You're familiar with Vienna Symphony libraries. Do you have some network situation where the CPU load is on separate? I don't personally use it. Most of the strings we use are the stock ones in in Logic, believe it or not. Great tour time Segway 2. 2 rack mounts on the top of the big rack. What are they? Which ones? Yeah, see, exactly. The Pultec has very smooth curves. I wonder what you're looking at. Oh, the Altex? These are Altex over here. Can you see me? This Altec here is the Abbey Road one. And it's had the Abbey Road mod. So this is like the famous John Lennon vocal Altec. That is an Altec mic pre, which is amazing. It's great for guitars. If you plug it in the front, we'll do a DI into it. We'll just trash it out. It's the best DI sound. This is a Trident up here. It's a Trident stereo compressor. I don't really use it that much. Mick, who works at Sunset Sound, it's very IC based. It doesn't. He worked on it, the development of it, when he was at Trident, and he doesn't speak that highly of it. Up there is and he worked at Trident, is an Ampex 601, which is a mic pre. It's taken from an Ampex tape recorder. This is a Crown, if you can see it. These two here are Crown mic pre's. So they're tube mic pre's that have been taken from tape machines. Then down here is a whole bunch of 500 series stuff, of which there's a pair of EQs on the guitars. And then a kick and snare API, and then a BAE 1073. 162, stereo 160, and Vertigo down there. So a bunch of really nice stuff. And then of course the SSL, which is a 4000. And that is Alex. Wave, Alex. There's Alex. What are you working on, Alex?
Some music stuff.
Some music stuff? What music stuff are you working on?
I'm making this beat for somebody.
He's building a beat for somebody.
Yes.
There you go.
Some rapper artist.
From a rapper. There you go. What are you working on, Eric? With your arms folded over there.
Being all cool. No, I just finished the multitracks that are going to be in the next course.
Oh yeah, for a hip hop course that we're doing by a very famous producer, engineer, and mixer of hip hop, and that's coming out soon. Oh yeah, that's Ableton Alex. That's what they're calling you, Ableton Alex.
Yeah.
Woo! Ableton Alex over there. Look at that. You see his new hair?
Yeah, look, man.
Look at that, new hair.
Wow.
New hair for Ableton Alex. Suggestions for cheap bass guitars for recording everything from pop to too much. I have a cheap bass guitar. Two things, 2 bass guitars. Number 1, Mexican jazz bass or Mexican P bass is amazing. Just upgrade the pickups. It's amazing. Yeah, they're calling you AA. Ableton Alex. AA. Double A. Yeah, Mexican Fenders are amazing. The kid I worked with yesterday who did the Van Halen thing had a Mexican Strat. It was amazing. You know, what's the best way to test audio interfaces? The quality of the preamps, ADD. You know, I had this conversation yesterday on the live feed, my first live feed I did yesterday. By the way, quickly, can you press like and share? Apparently, that's the only way. That YouTube knows that this is a popular video. So if you can do like and share, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So yesterday we were talking about this on the live stream as well. I had a meeting with Barry Henderson, who started Radar. Now, any of you who know anything about Radar know that it was or is considered like the highest quality A to Ds and D to As. People love it, but it's not really expensive, but it's not like entry-level 2i2s or audience ID4s or something like that. So, but this guy, Barry, love him or hate him, is enormous. Yes, please hit like and share. Is an enormous snob. He really is. I mean, I love him dearly, but yeah, he is so snobby about this stuff, and he's like, he doesn't like a lot of people's stuff. He really believes strongly, and rightly, that his gear is fantastic. He loves Lavery, and I print to my Lavery. So I have a Lavery down there. Lavery make amazing, amazing stuff. I would say Lavery for printing too. Most of my friends that print stereo mixes print through Lavery Blue. I see a lot of Lavery Golds in studios. Thank you for liking and sharing. I really appreciate it. People love the Burl as well. There's really good stuff. They're great converters. So my long story is what did Barry tell me? Barry told me that everybody uses the same chip. Isn't that crazy? So what are you paying for when you buy something that's this big and something that's this big? I.e., you know, 2 inputs, 1 input, as opposed to like a multiple input, thousands of dollars. You're paying for the architecture around it. You're paying for the stability of the power supply. You're paying for transformers in the burl that give you that sound. You know, you're paying for a lot of things that really, really help the quality of the signal hitting that converter. So I think be aware of that. There's the Audient and the Focusrite make really, really good stuff at a low price. They really do. And the difference between, where is it, like an M-Box that I had 20 years ago, an M-Box, like a 99, 2000, whatever M-Box, and which may have cost me $500, as opposed to a $200 Audient or Focusrite, the difference is massive. I mean, the way that the new Audient and new Focusrite IOs sound, the cheaper stuff, is like as good as the way that the mid-90s digital stuff sounded. That people made albums on that sold multi-million copies. So let's not make any excuses about quality anymore. Those converters, the inexpensive ones now, sound as good, and I know because I use those, and I open up records that we made on tape and transferred into Pro Tools and edited and comped, and I did stuff. You know, we could really, really believe in this stuff. You know what I mean? You can really get great results now. All bets are off. It's a massing. This is a leveling of the music industry. This is a democratization of the music industry. You can do it, yeah. Concentrate on the music. The hardware today is okay. The hardware today is really good. It's really, really good. So I think if your budget's $200 or $300 to get started, like as Graham says over Recording Revolution, just make music. He's getting people for $300 to start making music. Let's do it. Single wave multitracks needed. That's because there's a problem in the mix. Also more work. It's really mastering anymore. Yeah, all the good mastering engineers that I work with, all the best ones in the world, never ask me for stems. I think if they're asking for stems, then they're probably... I know a guy that asked me for stems, and he wanted to make it so bright that when it came back to me, everything was like needed de-essing. But in the mix, nothing de-essed, but he made it so bright. So he asked for stems because he wanted to put a de-esser on all of these multi-tracks that he was brightening so much. And then so what I did is I took that master away, that mix, and I gave it to Adam Ayen, and he made it sound absolutely amazing without asking for stems. So just be aware of that. There's kind of a catch-22. You know, some guys want stem mixes for mastering, but it might be more to do with their abilities than yours. You know, try a couple of different mastering engineers. You know, tried a couple of different mastering engineers. It might be that your mix really needs a lot of attention, and the mastering engineer needs to do that. But if they're asking for stems, ask them why they are asking for stems. Go back to them and say, why do you need the stems? And let them be honest. If they say, oh, you know, I tried it, but your mix needs this work or that work, go, okay, cool. Then go back and do the adjustments to the mix. Learn from the experience. If the mastering engineer is asking for stems, ask why, and get some tips from that mastering engineer so you can make your mix better. If you could have stems to any song, what would it be? Wow, I got a lot of stems to songs. If it could be anything, probably the whole of Dark Side of the Moon. Wouldn't that be most people? Oh no, The Wall. The stems to The Wall. Can you imagine? What a freaking amazing sounding record. Wow, all my hairs are standing on end. Can you see that on camera? Just thinking about that is like, they're all standing on end. Yeah. If Bob Ezrin would give me the stems. Bob, if you're watching, can you give me the stems to The Wall so I can remix it? Hey. So, 4050, I'm looking at all the comments here. I'm looking over here. Greetings in Brazil. Studio Tan. That's right, David. I have a Studio Tan. Do you rate Apogee Duet? Yeah, I love the Apogee stuff. That's what I'm trying to say, honestly, is that almost everything I see out there for IOs is a good quality now. It really is. And this is from Barry Henderson, who's like the snob of all snobs when it comes to radar. He makes amazing stuff. You know, it's the same chip. So it's really about the architecture around it. The reason why you spend more is because you're going to get transformers. The reason why the Burl is very popular with a lot of people is because they don't have access necessarily to really expensive mics or mic pre's. So the Burl gives them the sound that they want because it has a lot of transformers in there. Hello, Terry in Dublin. See you in a few weeks. Yeah, it's like... so it's that kind of thing. It just does sound good, and that's all that matters is about sound, says Dr. Mix. I agree. Sorry, I'm looking at it. It's easier to look at my laptop for the thing. A good mix is a good mix. No need for stems if the mastering engineer knows his or her job. I agree. It's all about the mix. If you could have stems for any song, we did that one. What did Lee say? Stems equal mixing. Yes, exactly. Go back to that one last time. If the master engineer is asking for stems, ask him why, so you can take the information and learn and improve your mix. I love working with world-class mastering engineers like Adam Ayen and Gavin Larson and Ruben Cohen. The reason why I like those guys is because they tell me, your mix was really good, except you had a little bit too much 180 in the kick. Could you pull it out? It's freaking awesome. I go back, I tweak my mix, I pull out a little bit of 180, 2 dB, send it back to them. That's what a great mastering engineer has. That's why we like dealing with people and not automated systems. And not that there's anything wrong with some of those automated systems because they're cheap. They might not give you the greatest master because they can't, because there's no algorithm that makes things, you know, the algorithm would have to be the Bob Ludwig decision-making process button, the Adam Ayen decision-making process button, the Gavin Larson decision-making, you know, the Ruben Cohen, whatever, the Sterling Audio, the Ted Jensen, you know what I mean? Those things aren't possible. There's no such thing as that because it's context, isn't it? When you're mastering a record, you're listening to all of the different songs and you're making decisions based on how it would feel. You know, Howie Weinberg would be like, I want it to feel like this, I want it to feel like that. It's not just about treble and bass being equal and everything being really loud. I mean, yes, you can do that with an automated system. And I think it's great. I am not negative about automated systems. They are so cheap and cheerful and they can do a really good job for you. But the human element, like Warren Sokol talks about in his mastering course that we did, there's a bit of sales for you. What Warren Sokol talks about is he talks about lots of other things than decision making. So there's nothing wrong with automated systems. It's just you can't take away the human decision-making process, and you shouldn't. But that's the reason why they have automated system, is to help people out. We're trying to help people out. You know, to get... I'm all about cheap ways to help people out. What's my next gear purchase? Oh, great question. What am I going to buy next? Probably more plugins. We need to get some more virtual instruments. We don't have enough virtual instruments, so I need to get more virtual instruments. I'm all about piano recommendations. If you guys want to email me, Warren at Produce Like a Pro, give us an idea what the best email ones are. You know, UK Sound 1173. Well, I did design it with Michael Stucker. Have you ever done the studio rundown of your own Spitfire, and would you? I will at some stage. Top 5 plugins. Wow. Off the top of my head, top 5 plugins. Really digging the new Slate, rack stuff. We're going to do a mix using that. Totally affordable, do the monthly, absolutely amazing. Really love all Mac DSP, analog channel. The Waves MV2 is my favorite single plugin. Get the Waves MV2. R-Bass, still use it every single day. And there's just certain things that you use all the time. Yeah, I do have to say the MV2. Anybody who knows my plugins, yeah, there's so much good stuff out there. Alchemy and Logic is absolutely incredible for a synth. Thank you. See, would you recommend the pink noise trick for a balanced mix? I don't need to. I don't think that way. But maybe when you're learning, it might be a way of doing it. Printing through your Lavery, the Lavery converter or the Lavery converter. I have Echo Boy, best plugin. Yeah, Echo Boy is amazing. David, thank you for reminding me. The Clang Helm. The MJUC. Go and watch that video. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to send you that. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, everybody. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. Clang Helm. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry about this. Dum 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 da. So I'm going to post this in the comments over here. It says say something. So this is my review of the Klanghelm. Dum dum dum. Do you see it? Did it come up? So go check that out. Save the link. So basically that's the Klanghelm MJUC. Oh, by the way, like and share. I've been told that you have to like and share to get people to notice a live stream. So please live stream. So please, we see it. Okay, cool. Neve versus API. Horses for courses. Both absolutely amazing. What do you want to do? The Neve 1073 is my go-to mic pre. As you know, I have the BAE one. I love 1073. The API 212 and 312s are my favorite. 312s, sorry, are my favorite on guitars and drums if I can. My Cadet console on drums is absolutely amazing. You know, your flute. I don't have a flute. There's so much stuff. You know what I mean? You know, can you share? Can you show us your boogers? Oh, thank you, Sam. You're being very constructive here. Have you ever tried a bass or guitar player who on recording to do the right notes but lacks the feel and groove where you have to step in and take care of the recording or track yourself? Yes, of course. I've had to do that many times, replay stuff, but I work with the artist as much as I can to make it great. I've done albums where I've had to bring in professional bass players, or I've replayed the stuff myself, or guitar players all the time. That's what you do. But it's all about, like, your job is to make it great. So what you, as a producer, you sit there and you work with the artist. You work with the artist and you get the best performance you can possibly do it. Do you have a band? I used to have a band, but no more. Christian, love your passion. Thank you ever so much. Look, I got this. I've spent my whole life building this. I love Audient. Friends I know that have the Audient console think it's amazing. You should do a 7 plugin mix challenge in the Academy. Well, we're going to do the Slate plugin challenge. It's going to come up. And then we're going to have Bob Horn see if he can beat the Academy mixes with only 7 plugins. Ooh, great idea. Do I sing in the shower? Of course. Doesn't everybody? Do you ever DI any electric and cab sims? You know, I'm moving into that world. I always run DIs. Always print them just because. Always print a DI. I've done that for years, so I always do it. What would be the main questions, topics to discuss with an artist before they come in the studio? Star 69 reunion tour. What's the main topics? Just the songs. It's all about the songs. Listen to the songs. Do some pre-production if you can. Just listen to the songs. Give them ideas. So maybe they can go into the rehearsal room and work on the tracks before they come in. So good pre-production, good focus on songs. That's the most important thing. You're going to get to know them in a one-on-one situation. So that's not really going to happen until you're in the same room. So just spend your time talking about songs. Would you consider a free remix contest for non-Academy members every now and then? Joining the Academy, not an option for me anytime soon. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's you know, there's multitracks online. Let me go. Give me a second, everybody. I'm going to send you somewhere else as well. Blah, 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 blah. Where's my playlists? Show more. Little Empire mix breakdown. Share. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to share some information because of the last question. Please share and like the video if you haven't already, because apparently that's what YouTube wants us to do. Okay, so everybody there, if you're not an Academy member yet, that's perfectly fine. I totally understand. It is $17 a month, or it's $169 a year. You get 20 multi-tracks. But anyway, and every month I do mix critiques and listen to the mixes. Did you see that link there? Go to that link, that playlist link, and you can watch all the videos of the mix breakdown, but also you can go and download the multi-tracks. Yes, I have done an SM7 on a snare. I usually use a 57. I do an SM7 in my room in there on the hi-hat, believe it or not. Anyway, so go. Everybody see that? I'm going to keep talking about it. Go back to my link up there. I'll paste it again. you can go. There's a playlist there of mixing the box. Would you rather use the same channel strips on everything? Sometimes. A lot of people like a lot of people like using tape emulations on every single one. So I would suggest that if you want, you could open up and put you can put a tape emulation on every single thing, just to kind of like give it a bit of schnizzle, you know what I mean? Oh my god, I can sing like a lady, how about you try? Oh sure, that's nice, go sing. David, off to a gig. So you could try that. That would be something that a lot of people do. Are you using SM53? Yeah, Val was right. So Val Garay told us all about an Aerosmith mix breakdown. I don't know, I'll have to ask them. I'll have to ask them. You know, I'll have to ask them. That would be a really, really difficult one to do. And I think ultimately that's tough because you've got record companies involved, and sometimes, Jay Messina's a friend, he's amazing. There's like so many wonderful things that you can do, that share that, but having those multi-tracks available would be incredible, but I have to negotiate with a huge record label. It's just one of those kind of things. I would love to. Ace Frehley might be a little easier to do. Please like and share. One more time I'm going to ask, just because I've been told that's what you have to do. Thanks for the stream. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Scatterbrain. Tube amp into load box, use impulse responses. I'm about to go and do a whole... Yeah, I know about record labels. It's just, yeah, Arthur remix Aerosmith, that would be amazing. Arthur does some crazy stuff, but so do you, Toby. I'd love to hear you remix them. I think the Ace Frehley one might happen. I haven't asked him yet, so please don't email him and say you heard it from here. But I think it would be amazing because Ace and I are really good. Super Rocks, yeah. There's some Super Rocks over there. I can't turn the camera, but there's some Super Rocks and Gentle X. Thanks for all the help on the YouTube channel. You're very welcome, Stephen. I'm trying to keep up with all of these. How much is the electricity bill for the SSL? Insane. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. What do you like about them? I like them because they're not fatiguing and they have great top end, and it's not fatiguing. There you go. Tube amp into low box. Impulse. Oh, I'm doing a set of impulse responses, so you'll check that out. You'll get those soon. Can you see guitars? Yes, there's tons of guitars in here. LA3A and the Blue Stripe. Yeah, those are all great. I mean, there's a really, really good stuff. Free tea. I'm glad, Martin, you know Jay Messina is insane. Jay Messina is one of the greatest engineers and mixers that ever lived. I'd love to visit you in Switzerland. Do you want to buy me my ticket and put me up in a hotel? Have I used the Kemper? Yes, it's great. When I did the Black Veil Brides live album, I recorded and mixed their live album. When I did that, favorite cup of coffee with the one that I'm drinking now. I love coffee. Do I think hardware reverbs are still superior? No, but I still like using them. I like being able to mess with them and then print them back in. Blum, 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 blum. Loving my mix with Brian for president for keeping it together. Yeah, Brian is amazing in the academy. He's incredible. I saw a Lavery. Oh, where is your Lavery and a change the computer? Help me understand. Okay, so I mix here in a DAW through a hybrid fashion, through the console, and then it goes back in on my chain. So it's the last thing. So it goes back in through some analog gear, then prints into the Lavery. Have you worked on a lot of records? Yes, I've worked on a lot of records. How do you keep everything organized and archived properly? We have them always on 2 hard drives, and they're all backed up to 2 hard drives. I have, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 hard drives. What's the secret piece of gear you make every sound pass through because it makes everything sound good? When I'm mixing, I do use the console in a hybrid fashion, so I suppose it's that. It's more about getting the front end right. You need to get transformers on your front end if you want that sound, you know? So if you want that low, thick, middly, I hate this word, but I'm going to use it, warm sound, that it's not tubes necessarily, it's more about having transformers. You know, yeah, a lot of hard drives. So really, if you're going to want it, your secret piece of gear could be that really, and it starts with the source. Remember Matt from Roswell was talking about this? Starts with a great mic that you can afford, the best you can afford, going into a really nice mic pre, and into your I/O. And if you can, a nice compressor. You get that chain right, those three things, then you're cooking with gas, as they say. You're going to do really, really well. All about front end. I talk about it all the time, and you're gonna hear me say it a lot. Can you suggest something cataloging and playing music other than iTunes? I have 20 mixes of every track, and it gets confusing in iTunes. That's a really, really good question. I would say I just cleaned up my computer from iTunes and dumped it all onto a hard drive. I hate to darken things. I use Decapitator, but the Klanghelm MJUC. I don't get an affiliate fee. It's only 27 bucks. Go and buy it. The Klanghelm MJUC is the best plugin on the market for me for doing that stuff. Then I would go for the Slape tape emulations, and of course the Mac DSP analog channels. Okay, yeah, I'm going back to that. There's so many questions here, trying to keep up with them. Alan Mulder is a mixer. Had you had a chance to work with him? He's never mixed my stuff. He's absolutely amazing. Alan is one of the greatest. Him and Spike Stent, Mark Ender, just unbelievable mixers. Unbelievable. Oh, and of course, what's his name? Stephen Fitzmaurice. Stephen Fitzmaurice, absolutely amazing. Hey James Lugo, how are you, my friend? I liked your question about speakers, and and people have been asking about speakers here. Secret weapon. The reason why I like the Genelecs is because they're a constant now. I think they're the new constant with the NS10s. I'm good, thank you. I feel like now when I go into a studio, because they were the first, or no, that's not true, one of the first to get into powered monitors. I use 1032s, but I have 1031s as well, sitting down there. The reason why I like them, if I go to any studio in America, they have usually or often have a pair of NS10s and then often have a pair of 1032s. If they've got like 10 rooms, 4 rooms, 3 rooms, 2 rooms, whatever, they've got multiple rooms, they usually have at least one floating pair of 1032s. Now I can go into a room and I can see ATCs. I can go into a room and see focals. I can go into a room and see KRKs. I can see all of these things. But almost everybody, I'm not saying everybody, but almost everybody has at least one pair of Genelecs, especially 1032s. So the reason why, whereabouts are you, James, if they're 200 miles from you? I'm assuming you're, the point is like, I'm not saying they're the world's greatest speakers. I personally love them. So does Jack Douglas, you know, so does many, many great mixers and stuff. You know, Tim Palmer, you know, some of the best mixers in the world have them. Nashville. Oh, there's tons of 1032s in Nashville. I can tell you about 20 studios have 1032s. So you don't have to travel 200 miles to get them. But a lot of my friends have them in there. But anyway, PreSonus make great speakers. But I'm just saying that what I like about them is they're a sort of a constant. I was just in, by the way, I was just in Blackbird the other day. I'm using 1032s. So I'm sure you're quite close to... how much is the pair for sale? Yeah, so look, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy who's like, these are the best speakers and everything else sucks. I'm just not that guy. I've used focals, they sound great. I've used ATCs, they sound amazing. I've used some KRKs that sound amazing. I've used some PreSonuses that sound amazing. I've used NS10s that sound, wow, 2,400 for a pair of 1032s, just buy them. Because look, like Lexi's saying, they're $5 in wheels, just buy them. Buy them, polish them up, make sure they work, and resell them if you don't want to keep them. That's really, really good. 1,600? This is insane. Those are really cheap for that kind of speakers. Yeah, so what, you're 2,500. These are really good prices for used. So my point is, you get what I'm saying. I'm not that guy. I'm not one of those guys that has those YouTube channels that tells you, you're doing it all wrong. Of course you're not doing it wrong. If you're making great music, and who cares whether you're like Black Audio Grind from the opponent. I haven't heard that, but I do love Black Audio stuff, and one of my good friends has upgraded his Black stuff to Black Audio and worships it and says it's great. So I think they must do great things. I think one of those things that we have to touch on, and we touch on a lot, is like there's a lot of good alternatives to gear. And it's like, if you like somebody and they use a piece of equipment and you like their sound, if you like their sound, then, and you want to do something similar, then obviously listen to them, listen to their advice, and buy similar gear from them that they use. It's going to help you, but it doesn't mean that that's the only way of doing it. You know, I much prefer the sound of a BAE over a Vintech. However, and I think that the BAE sounds a lot better than the Vintech. However, the Vintech is really, really inexpensive compared with the BAE. And if you don't have, yeah, I have Spectrasonics as well. Dave uses a lot of Spectrasonics. So the point is like, if you don't have the budget yet for the BAE and the Vintech is cheap and maybe there's one used, then of course buy it. I mean, it would be stupid to say that something sucks, you know what I mean? I'm not like the, the lower end on my 1032s is great. I know them though. I know how they sound, you know what I mean? I've done so many car tests moving from the studio here into my car. I've done so many of those that I don't really need, you know, I don't really need to know. Good chair is a key, that's very true, because you've got to work for long hours. I don't really need to sort of like double check, and I don't need a subwoofer anymore. So it's kind of a weird one, you know what I mean? I'm about to try out those iLouds. They're only $300. Apples and oranges, yes, SSL versus Neve. I have all. I've had both. I've owned a 8058. I've owned an API 20 channel. I've owned a CADAC. I still have it. And I've owned an SSL 4000. And they're all, yes, I'm doing marvelously well. And they're all completely different. You know, so it's like, yeah, Armando Avila, I know him well because I just produced the latest Christian Castro record. And he did the last two before that. So, yeah. We both use similar gear. Yeah, I think that, you know, you're talking about apples and oranges, really, when it comes to consoles and mic pre's. There's no one-size-fits-all. There's a lot of really, really good equipment out of there, and it depends on what you're going for. The reason why I have opinions is that just based on what I'm using it for and how it works, it doesn't mean it's the best thing for the job. And be aware of the people that tell you you're doing it wrong. Just... Paul says he has the iLouds and recommend it. We're about to try them out, and we're going to do a giveaway, so check that out. So yeah, just be aware of all the experts. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of people arguing about stuff. You know, we've got to be. This is about a sense of community. The reason why I started Produce Like a Pro is to have this wonderful sense of community and help each other. Did the Manchester bands like the Chameleons, Sound Division, the Sound, Joy Division, were they part of your musical DNA? Yes, definitely, definitely. When I saw New Order recently, well, actually probably about 8 years ago at Coachella, I cried when they came out because they did the first three songs. They did Isolation, Love Will Tear Us Apart, and what was the third song? Transmission. Isolation, Transmission, Love Will Tear Us Apart. Hairs are standing on end. And I just burst into tears. My wife was like, what's going on? I mean, you're talking about Joy Division shaped so much of what's happened in the last 20 years. Do I print compression? Yes, every time. But I know what the sound I want is. I always print compression. Yes, thank you, Andrea, for being part of this community. Thank you. This is really wonderful. Again, sales pitch. 2 sales pitches. Please like the video, because apparently YouTube likes it when you like the video, and please share the video so we can get this discussion, keep this discussion going. I'm going to do about another 10 minutes before I have to get to work. I have to recall a mix, and Eric has to go down to my son's school to help out with the PA system, which I believe is 2 cabs, a stand, and some cables. So I think you'll be all right, Eric. I think you'll be okay. What do I think about UAD Apollos? I've never used one. Like I said, I've tried to reach out to UAD. I keep hitting brick walls. So I can't really tell you. Stop sitting and standing desks. Oh, I've got those. I've got the standing desk here. What can cause a bad mixed translations? Slate VMS, love them. Fantastic. C12 emulation sounds like a C12 to me, and it's $1,000. What can I say? Where are you going to get a C12 for $1,000? I mean, you can argue about different ones all you like, but the Slate VMS C12 emulation is absolutely amazing. I know 100 people that have used C12s that say that. If you want to have a fight about it on here, please, I mean, just fight about it. But come on, it's $1,000 and it gives you a C12 emulation. If you can get a C12 for $1,000, you know what I mean? I'm attending the PMC. I would love to meet you there. What's the PMC? Fight. Yeah, that's not. I don't have time for those kind of discussion fights, you know, where people are arguing about transformers and whether the Carnhill's better than the this and the Sun Ives and the bloody blah and the ding dang doodle. I don't have time for that. You know, nobody does. If you've got time for those kind of fights, then you're not making music. Here today we've talked about 50 different things in an hour. And that's what I love. I love this. I love this intensity of everybody talking about stuff. If we're going to get caught up, I love PMC loudspeakers. And the guys that run it are awesome guys. Again, you see, PMC make great products. Unity make great products. Genelec make great products. ATC make great products. What do I prefer? I prefer the Genelec. I've been using it for a long time. I love the way it goes. Promix production miss at the Lowe's Hotel. Send me details. Warren at Produce Like a Pro. I know nothing about it. Please send me details. Toby Davis, the Academy guys whose mixes translate well, works their EQ really well. Yeah, one of the things that's happened in the Academy is everybody's learned how to control their low end. I've been watching other Academy stuff and they really don't concentrate on that. And it's mainly because a lot of these guys that have academies don't know how to control the low end anyway themselves. So what they do is they're not teaching that. So it's definitely what sorts out the men out from the boys. I tell this story a lot. Remember, my academy's $17 a month. Go and try it. ProduceLikeAPro.com. Sign up for the academy. Was that a good sales pitch? Do you like that? Do you want to try it, Eric?
Oh, pressure.
Thoughts on plug-in presets? Try them out. What's the harm? Try a preset out. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends that use the Apollo Twin. I think they're really great. But he says with his best radio voice, yeah. Tracking through a Neve or API, both are amazing. There's something about an API I love, and there's something about a Neve I love. Yeah, Glenn introduced me to the live stream, so get used to this. This might be happening on a regular basis. All I'm going to need is an hour every morning to do one of these. It's going to drive you nuts. You guys are going to be over me. HS8s. I love the HS8s. A lot of friends I have. APO and drums rock. I agree. That was Andy Johns, remember? That was his favorite thing. And you were talking Zeppelin. So if Andy Johns like APIs on Zeppelin. Remember, I was in Sunset Sound Studio 1 yesterday, for those of you who are watching that live stream. And you'll remember that has Jensen transformers through the Domidio mic pre's with API EQs. Before in that room in the 70s, they had an API. That's what they tracked Stairway to Heaven on. So Stairway to Heaven, API console, rest my case. Okay, what's up, Warren? Hey, Gio, how are you? Guinness or Beck's? I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I'm what you call straight edge. That's something that I learned about a few years ago. I just don't drink or do drugs. But I do drink a lot of coffee. With my Sunset Sound mug, there you go. I imagine they sell these if you go to their website. Coke or Pepsi? I don't know. I grew up drinking Coke, so I drink Diet Coke. Okay, I'm answering a question. VST for strings. I don't know if I know the answer to that. I've tried all different ones. What's your favourite song that's on the charts at the moment? We checked out the Taylor Swift one yesterday. It's the anti-chorus thing, and she did Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy for my dad, too sexy for my, and so she took that melody and in a classy way. Name checked and gave songwriting credit to those two guys without a need for a lawsuit. She did it right from the get-go. They must have used it as a reference point. I kind of like the track. It's the anti-song. Have you guys heard it? Don't crucify me because I said Taylor Swift. I kind of liked it. We were listening to it because it came out, yesterday or the day before? And it had just come out and it came up on my news feed. So I listened to it. And is it going to be a massive worldwide smash? I don't know, but I kind of like people trying new things. Isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we want, people? We want people to try new kinds of production ideas. And I kind of love it. It's great. I'm on an iPhone 7 for the stream quality, so I'm glad you like it. He's got an Android, so I'll tell him that you prefer the stream of the iPhone 7. One of the most common subtle mistakes that beginners make in mastering. Check out the Warren Sokol course. Blah blah blah. There you go. There's my sales. What's the most common mistakes? I think overdoing it, just doing too much. That's really the simple answer. Doing too much. When you go and sit in with a real mastering engineer, they're like, tweak, tweak, tweak. These are like frequency boosts, frequency cuts. Here's the big secret for mastering. Are we ready for the big secret for mastering? Here's the big secret for mastering. Most of these guys, not all of them, but most of them, have a crap load of hardware. Very, very expensive hardware. And they like the sound that that hardware does. And they might not do very much at all. But they have this chain that they put together. And it does, like, maybe this piece toughens the low mid slightly. I'm just kind of making up as I go, you know what I mean? This one gives a little bit of bottom end. This does this does that. All of this stuff like builds up and creates a sound. And so it's very difficult to emulate that sound in hardware. That's why I think that, and I do not get a penny from what I'm about to say. That's why I like that Gavin Lurson made that, and Ruben Cohen made that IK multimedia product there. What's it called? The Lurson Mastering Console. I like that they did that because they incorporated that sound into a plugin. Also, if you do want to get that Warren Sokol course, I don't know, can you put that, really? Somebody's dropping the N-word on here? Really? Shows no class whatsoever. I'm sorry. Sorry, people, that's just not appropriate. Not appropriate at all. Like I said, stay away from... Yeah, exactly. You know, I actually don't mind what anybody's politics are, you know, because I want everybody to get along. If people are going to talk politics, you know, go and talk politics together, and you know, this resolves some stuff. I'm cautiously optimistic that the world is going to get better. You know what I mean? Yeah, I let some of these comments go, but that is completely unacceptable. I don't care where you are on the spectrum in your politics, but there's some things that aren't acceptable. I have very conservative friends, but they're not racist. I have very progressive friends, and they're not racist. Racism, there's no place for racism in this world. None whatsoever. There's no place. And I'm not going to talk politics. Yeah, thank you, Nathan saying it, yeah. There is no place for racism. Okay, moving on. All right, so, again, it's got nothing to do with politics. You can be on the left, you can be on the right. Yeah. So anyway, what was I saying? So, blah, 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 blah. Let's go back. Yeah, the NLS channel I think is really good. There's so much good stuff out there. You're not going to be, you're not going to get me to diss anybody's stuff. Yeah, pan politics, I like that. Oh yeah, mastering. Thank you very much for the reminder, Nathan. Okay, so Warren Sokol did some really good stuff with us, showing us like how you tweak things using. Thank you, Tom. Using plugins. Let me. I'm going to do a sales pitch. I'm sorry, people, but I'm going to do it. Just because it's pretty freaking cheap course. Gonna do the sales pitch. I'm an hour and a half into this thing, and I'm finally gonna sell you something if you want to buy it. Yeah, Ian does. Thank you. Ian does a really good podcast, and when he's been on the thing, I can show you that. All right. So let me. Sorry about this. Yeah, I think we can get a moderator for these. Maybe Matt McQueen can do it. Matt, are you watching? And blum, 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 blum. Here's a live one. Okay, cool. So, everybody, here we go. Here is the Warren Sokol course. So, why do I like this course? I like this course because it's cheap. It's actually cheaper than the other courses are out there that have people you've never heard of mastering. No disrespect, but this guy's mastered some Kanye songs and a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, aggressive word filtering. Yeah, I've got to learn all this stuff. This is only my second ever. This is only my second ever live stream, and I did my first one yesterday. Best pieces of gear for plug-in, adding harmonies, or etc. for vocals. I do it using auto-tune, but I also love Melodyne for building the harmonies. But I personally do it using auto-tune because I know how to use auto-tune better than Melodyne. But we also use Melodyne. See, Toby says Warren's mastering course is awesome. I'll post it again. So I use Melodyne for capturing MIDI to trigger drum samples because thank you, Nathan, because I think it's the most accurate one out there. That's just me. I really like it. But anyway, but I personally use Auto-Tune to build harmonies, but I have guys that work for me that use Melodyne to do it, and they're both really good. Have I been totally in? Yeah, I have an in-the-box mixing course, and I do mix. I sometimes mix in the box entirely, and sometimes I use the SSL. But whenever I mix with the SSL, it's still in a hybrid fashion from my console. Once again, quick sales thing. Please like and share, because apparently YouTube likes it when you like and share. I have been told. Okay, I'm looking at the UK sound. Yeah, I'll tell you about that when we get hold of it. Use for both difference. Pick up a pair if you can. Very powerful mics as a pair. Which one's that? The UK sound 1173 is coming very soon. How did you like visiting Joe Gilda's place in Nashville? It was absolutely amazing. Isn't Joe the sweetest, funniest, most talented guy around? Yeah, we're going to do some more stuff together. Him and Graham are two of my favorite people. It's interesting because I got some flack for people for we're trying to keep it just over $1,000 for the pre, because it's also got a compressor in it. The interesting thing with Joe and Graham and Glenn, and I got flack for being friends with Glenn recently. You know what? Glenn is this 6'4" huge Canadian guy that has the heart as big as the world. And what he does is he's so sweet and so generous with us and gives so much of his time and has been so supportive. But everybody gets off on this thing with him, like giving bass players a hard time. And I have bass player friends that watch it. What is he doing? What he's doing is he's telling you to practice and don't just become a bass player because it's easy. You got to get in there. Yeah, okay, I'm not big on the swearing. You know I'm not. I swear like once every now and then. But the point is Glenn is all about go and sit down and practice your instrument and be good at it. And remember, most of his... rule number 2. Most of his audience are metal guys. He talks to metal guys. He talks to a massive amount of dudes that are like, you effing rock, bro. I mean, that's most of his audience. You know, it's not like maybe a lot of people here where we're... it's a different community. Our community is like, yes, there's a lot of us that love rock. You know, Ron Mockridge, who's a great Academy member. He's not here today, but I know he's a big rock fan and he's done some great rock mixes. Oh my God, look at this. Somebody else is doing it. It's like somebody else is like... It's just... Oh. Somebody else created... They went off and created a new Gmail thing so they could do that. Isn't that horrific? Your racist opinion, whoever you might be, has no place here. Yeah, I know. It's probably also, you know, what's so disturbing is I recently told by some YouTube people that it's other channels. Isn't that so sad? That it's guys with other channels, you know, a couple of those guys like the expert guys that are like really aggressive, that they do this to try and sabotage you. Can you believe that? I was told that. That's so sad. Anyway, yeah. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, so this is probably some other guy with a... Wow. So sad. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to give him the time of day. We'll just delete it. And the thing is, it lasts for like 2 nanoseconds and then goes. And but yeah, did I work with the muffs? I did. Yeah, I will ignore them, Terry. Thank you. And I'll put out that keyword thing where you can't say those kind of things. I don't know if I can do that now. Manage moderators, toggle timestamps. Oh no, they're not getting me. Don't worry, I'm not getting upset about these guys that do this stuff. It's like what it is like this is you know, what it is it's guys that have he's either got another channel and he's trying to sabotage what we're doing, which is quite likely, unfortunately, or he is just a racist person. Neither of which really I'm interested in, you know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, but I'm not going to get in to see somebody's talking about the hate march. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk politics because you know the thing. Yeah, we did just ban them, but then they create a new channel almost immediately because Google allows you to create these kind of channels. And remember, yeah, back to the muffs. So the muffs thing was like I worked with a friend of mine who's an amazing, amazing guy of film and TV licensing guy. I want to interview him. You know, I want to interview him and talk about that stuff. It's absolutely amazing what he does, and he produced the muffs, and I think I did some work with them, like engineering or doing some overdubs. I don't remember. We're talking about 15 years ago, but the singer was really, really sweet. Yeah, you do the bands and stuff on the racists and stuff like that, but the problem is like he or she is enjoying us giving them attention. They obviously don't have any attention in their life. So thanks for reporting it. But anyway, so yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to we're going to hang up in a minute. So check out the Studio Hybrid, which was building any budget almost 30 years. Yeah, we're ignoring it. So these guys are charged, pathetic waste of time, gotta run. Yeah, thanks Martin, I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly, they're liking the attention. And again, it's probably, like I said, it could quite unfortunately be another channel. That's what's so sad. There's a channel out there that there's a couple of like Haiti kind of places. Anyway, we're all about showing the love. Off to bed in England. Good night. This is a great community. You know, this is a wonderful community here of people. Everybody is so supportive of each other, and they really, really help each other out. And I think that what we are is we're in a situation where we want everybody to share the love of each other and really, really support each other. Who's my favorite intern? Well, you are, of course, Alex. You're my favorite intern. You know, what can I say? Unless the other one's there, then they're my favorite. You know. All right, everybody. Have a marvelous time. We'll do this regularly, so just stay tuned. I'm not going to send out an email for it. I'm just going to kind of do it. Yeah, I'll find out if I can do that mass mix breakdown. We'll do something great. You rock. We're going to do tons more free multi-tracks. Check out that course, the Warren Sokol one. I'm posting it again. Check that out. And also, go to the Preamps stuff, look at all that stuff. And also, if you're not yet a member of the Academy, go join. It's only $17 a month. Or you can also do the free one. And you can download multi-tracks for free. Go enjoy. Thanks, everybody. You rock. Thanks for, please like, please share, do all of that wonderful stuff. Check out the Klanghelm MJUC. It's absolutely frigging amazing. And go and check out all the Pro Mix Academy stuff. Thank you. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. And I'll speak to you all again very soon. Thanks for tuning in.